What's happening, everyone? Welcome to a Friday edition of Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. As last night my head was so congested, it just wasn't happening. And so we're doing it tonight. We're going to finish up this octopus painting. We're going to do it pretty quick. For some reason my sound was being weird, so I had to shut off that because the music was just in a permanent loop for some odd reason. So might not have any sound effects tonight, but we will be painting, and hopefully the audio is good. And everyone, let me know if there's any audio issues or video issues. I think we should be all good, but you guys let me know. So we got people on Facebook. We got Dennis, Mr. DiLorenzo. How you doing, sir? Ken, Kev, Jeff, Walters. What's going on, guys? Thanks for popping in from Florida. A big squatch over on Facebook. YouTube. We got Oz, we got 16 other people over here. Let's hopefully everything sounds good and looks good. No one's complaining yet, so we're gonna get this puppy roll. Let's talk about what we're doing. Let's bring up what we got here. We got this little shindig going on. And this is where we left off last week. So last week we ended up right here. It was about 2 hours in. I showed you guys how to transfer the image, how I did all the cutting, and using all the same colors, which are colorless this time, is the same as last week, which is the opaque white, the 5060, cerulean blue, the 5059 cobalt blue, and my reducer is a 4:1 mix of the 4011, 4020, and just a touch of 4050 is added into my colors. I like the way it makes it stickier. It gives it more of an automotive performance feel for me, especially on the hard surfaces. And that is my mixture and what I got going on. So I can like peek over. Hi. And let's get that off screen here. And we'll get going. Anyone got any questions? Anyone got any concerns? What's going on before I get started into this? I remixed up the paint colors. I didn't let them sit all week. I could have. I didn't cap them over, so I was only using one brush, so I just tossed it out, remixed all the colors up tonight. And we're going to get right into my darker color, which is what I got going on now. Let's do this. So that was, of course, a reference image that we got off of the side. And I did some paper cutting here. You know, just I did my transfer, then I did the paper cut, just so I can cut in some hard lines. And I'm going to start with that right now, actually. I'm going to put this down since I got the darker color here. Get that in position. A little rough position here. And this is the cobalt blue. I may add a touch of black or purple to it if I want to get some areas darker towards the end. But we'll see. Maybe not. Just going to get some basic separations done here. And we'll freehand the rest. Yeah. I just wanted to get a little separation going. Now I can come in kind of freehand out. Sorry about that. Some of the little suckers here. And if freehand isn't your friend at the moment for that, let's see here. I can pop in one of my pocket graphics. These are great for stuff like this, because I can come in here and I can just take some little edges and just kind of, you know, make things a little crisper. Actually, I'm going to drop the pressure a little bit. I'm going to reduce some things a little more. I did hit record. Thanks, sir. Thank you, thank you. And for those keeping track, we do have a bid. Current bid on this that's carried over from last week for I think it was, let's bring this up here. We had a $100 bid from Steve Buckus, and that is still in play. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find a sticky note. I can use a sticky note on my table, easier for me to keep track of. I want to thank everyone for popping in on a Friday night opposed to a Thursday. Yeah, man, yesterday I woke up, my head was just like seized from the pollen. Even my dogs were crazy. Everyone in the whole house, I was like hit like a ton of bricks. Then I got a little better, and I thought I was going to be able to make it, and then, as soon as I started doing stuff and working, it just got worse again. Hey, Sean, what's going on, man? Anytime. Glad some of those tips helped. Yeah, as far as the tips on, like getting leafing to stick. Yeah, I figured out some of those tricks a long time ago with the paper transfer tape. Paper transfer tape works so good because the glue releases as soon as you get it wet. So it's great if you're on solvent. If you're on water, you can't do that trick because it takes some of your paint with you. But once you're cleared, it's fine. But yeah, Sean, I had those same problems. Had those same problems years back when, trying to leaf a section, then mask over it and do details. And I've had okay luck with the FBS Gold because the way it doesn't really pull a lot. But I do recommend rolling masking off versus pulling it up. Pulling it up is we have the problem because it kind of pulls with this. With the surface tension, sometimes that tension is enough to disturb the leaf. And that stuff I wish I could do during live videos, but it's just you really can't. It's just too much of a process to go through. I did a little bit of leafing on last feet, so that helped, I think, a lot of people. Leafing is really about timing. Yeah, man, I love the cobalt blue. So I love cerulean blue. I love cobalt blue over cerulean blue. I just love the tone it gets. So the two of them together. And I often mix them together and make like a phthalo blue. Because I find it's pretty close to like a traditional phthalo blue. I just like where that lines up. And when you're in this stage, it's so cool because you can just work for hours in the same color and just detail everything. Changed up my background tonight. A little underwater feel. Okay, let's go all underwater. Doop. And the cobalt blue and the cerulean, before Cradix came up with the candies, these were, when I was doing water-based work, these are my go-to for doing real fire, blue fire, things like that, because they were such a nice semi-transparent blue that I could get a candy feel with it without using a candy. Now, of course, I have the candy, so when I want that real deep candy effect, I can get it with the Candy 2.0s. But when I want a closer effect and I don't want to deal with like a candy in the mix, these are my go-to colors. The illustration colors are just so nice because you can work them from coverage down to just really soft transparencies, unlike anything else. What's up, Michael? Pushing some anything about color theory. I don't talk about actually colorblind. Yeah, color theories can go all over the place. You know, I'm not an expert in it. I know enough to be dangerous, or to kind of get where I want to go with it. I too would like to kind of do more with it. Drew Blair's got a great color theory method. So he's definitely one I would look to for like exploring color theory. And there's a really amazing book. Let me see if I can find it. That I learned about. I think actually Drew recommends it too, but I learned about it from Steve Gibson. Let me see if I can find this book, because it's really amazing. Just checking the library. I'll have to find it. Yeah, it's a really good book. Sorry about that. You know, my big thing in color right now is I know where to stay. I was going from Kentucky. Thanks for popping in. You know, I just like to stay in certain color families. A lot of times, you know, the one thing on Custom Motorcycle World, a lot of times we're not getting into heavy realism. We're getting into more, like, we want more impact than realism, so you deal with bold, bright colors a lot of times. So, you know, bikes are usually staying in certain color families, or black and grays, or things like that, so, not as critical, but yeah, when I get into, like, realism, I definitely look to books and, you know, look to my reference material and kind of work it from there. So again, I want to thank everyone for popping in. So I want to get a little delineation from here to here. So what I'm going to do for that, we'll do a little quick cut exercise. And I didn't bring any X-Acto blades up here to my bench. I think I poached it to somewhere else in the studio, as always. I'll just use a blade. Ta-da! Use blade. Yeah, I prefer grayscale for realistic stuff. Mainly, a lot of times, it's usually for the customer's budget, because they can get a lot more for their budget if they stay in like a grayscale or a color scale than if they want photorealism. If they want me to do, like when I did the Walking Dead bike, years back, you know, originally it was photorealistic. He wanted like each episode, and I said, well, we can do it. Just the price difference it's going to be is it's going to triple the cost of the job. So we already had 120 hours in that bike when we did it in black and gray. We would have had 300 to 400 hours if we did in realism. So, you know, they would have got either had to come up with that money or done a third of the artwork they wanted, because we wouldn't have been able to do all those scenes in full color. But yeah, I kind of like staying in a color family. It's better for my ADD. I can get through the job quicker. I do get bored of a job a lot of the way through it. What blades? I use I typically use X-Acto blades. A lot of times I really prefer ordering I forget the name off the top of my head, the brand I order. I find they're better than X-Acto blades and they're actually cheaper. There's Guilfoyle, which is good. Man, what is Havel? Haval or EL Havel blades. That's the ones I really prefer. But no one really carries them, so you have to order them direct from them, which is fine. But I have to go search, like I don't find them on Amazon and just order from there. I find their price for what they offer, their blades are the best and most consistent in the years that I found. Yeah, exactly, Shine. It's a whole different animal. And it comes down to different paint methods too. So, like Drew does a lot of opaque colors in his work. So you can do a lot of overlaps because you're going color for color. Whereas other people, in how I prefer to work, I do a lot of transparency. So you're building tone on tone. And it's a totally different method to paint in. So there's no one right or wrong way to do it, as long as the end result what you want. It's just different methodology. So like Steve Gibson's method is amazing because he starts with that black and gray and then colors into it and over it, which is how a lot of digital painters paint, and it works amazing. It really, really does. So, it really comes down to what you want. I'm going to break out this little guy for just to get some water effect up here. That's one of the past months of the wife. Glad to catch up. What's going on, Dave? Thanks for popping in. I'm going to finish up this bad boy tonight. Maybe for a few hours, or at least an hour. We might not go for the full 2. We'll see where I'm at towards the end. I know it's Friday night. I have major issues with yellows. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky because you still have atomization. Even though paints are transparent, when you airbrush them, you still have atomization. So, when you try to do that, try to have a buffer in between. Usually helps. Like a buffer color. yeah, you gotta. So what I found with these, you gotta get it. You gotta get a really good hot glue gun that you can actually. The trigger doesn't actually really do much. It doesn't push it through fast enough. You almost gotta push it through with your hand on the other side. So I usually use a kind of a wide mouth one. Get it really, really hot and super non-stick aluminum foil. There's like an ultra non-stick Reynolds aluminum foil that works really well for it. I've had the best result with that. But once you get it, I mean, dude, I've had this one. I think I've been using the same one for at least 2 years in this feed. Are you going to go back and redo Mike's plane and skull in True Fire? I don't know. Probably not. We did that in the class, when I did a live class workshop. I don't know if I'd do it on a live feed, possibly. Oh, good, you got the Diego painting, cool. I'm glad you got it. I still got Sid up there. We got Sid. Sid's all alone. All his friends are gone. Sid's a sloth. Good. Yeah, I think you were the last one I was waiting to hear from, Dave, to make sure you'd gotten it. I heard from everyone else. You know, there's always that scare factor with UPS and post office. And is it going to make it, and is it going to get there? So I want to get in with some white now. Put a little extra detail in. Hope everyone's starting to get good weather where they're at. We're still, like, man, the past couple days it's looked beautiful out, but man, it's been damn cold. It's still cold. Like, not digging it. I want to get some work done outside. Trying to get the yard work done. Trying to get the pool opened up. But waiting for the pool to get opened up because I got a great couple guys that come and take care of that for me. So in short, when you're doing, as I've learned, and I have to always learn this every time I do one, how big of a plotter do I have? So I only have a 24-inch plotter, and I've never felt the need to buy a bigger one. So that Trans Am hood was actually done in 3 sections and it's so wide. I could get away with 2, but I like it better with 3. I actually cut the middle section and then the other 2 sides of the wings, and I have an easier time getting things. I'm not trying to get Russell one big stencil over whole hood. I can do it in sections, and I actually find that's more beneficial. Some people may disagree. I find the smaller plotters are more exact for doing small details. So, you know, I have friends with bigger plotters, so if I wanted to get bigger material for a job, I could, and I never have felt the need to. So. Yep, and I've run the same Roland GX24 plotter now for, shoot, almost 14 years, 15 years. Whoops, I've had that plotter. And it still cuts 1/8-inch lettering. It's a great machine. The newer ones are even better. Like, I've used the GS24 in classes, and I'd love to upgrade it. I just haven't. And now they have a newer one, which is supposed to even be better than that, so just haven't felt the need to upgrade. I'm glad my tips help, man. That's why I do this, and I do have some plans. I really got to implement them to do like more specialty classes here for small groups. So you get 76. Yep, you could do that. You could totally do a Lumalore as well. It'd be really cool to do both. Be expensive, but it would be freaking awesome. If you try to do it and you need a hand, let me know. It'd actually be cool to do in Lumalore, but do it in multiple sections. Like almost each section of the wing. That way you could turn on and off sections at the time and almost have it flap in a way, but just have it like chase. It'd be really, really cool. Yeah, so I was saying it earlier, there's no shortcut to do an octopus. I don't care. I mean, other than like over stenciling it. But the more tentacles, the more suckers you see, the longer it takes. Plus, I have some bubbles and stuff. I'm going to switch up to the down cam. I think you can get a better view of everything happening. Hopefully my head doesn't get in the way. It's funny, like I know Doug talks all the time. Facebook is like, it shows no one, but people come in and out, but it still shows no one, so I'm not sure if anyone's there or not anymore. So, if you're still on Facebook, like tap a thumbs up or say hi. Dave the Bug Gregory, thank you, sir. I have no sound effects right now because for some reason it kept looping. I gotta see if I can fix that. Thank you very much for that super chat, sir. That is very much appreciated. So super chats help, guys. Buck here, buck there. You know, I get 20, 30 you guys in, and you know, a couple bucks here or there really helps the cause and everything I got going on. Let's see if I can get those sound effects back on. It's being weird. Oh, it might be working. Might be working. I'm gonna give this to Dave. Let's see. Thank you, sir. Big crowd cheer. All right. So I definitely think, I'm debating. I think I might darken up the cobalt blue with a little viridian green in the dark areas just to get another tone. So bubble template. Bubble templates right here. These were designed by Dennis Matheson, the king of the bubbles. And those are available at Coast Airbrush is probably the best place to get them. And Amazon, you'll pay way more for them. I think his is probably some of the best ones overall. They just, like, these are my little favorite ones. These little, watch these little guys right here. I love those little guys. They're little, just the little bubbles coming up. It just adds so much to the painting. It's great. And I'm actually thinking too, we can bring in a little bit of brush effects in here as well. With some white. Just because it goes in so heavy. I can get some nice effects on these and just get them to really pop. These are just crappy brushes. I need to get some better brushes in here. All my good ones are out in the shop. Just bought my first Badger from... Yeah, it's a great brush. You know, 0.3 is not a micron killer, but they're a great brush. So you can do details with 0.3s. I do details with 0.3s all the time. Like my eclipses, like the Takumi Eclipse is basically, it's a 0.3. And I've run this whole painting through it. So it really comes down to the paint you're running. And if you like the feel of the brush. Just how it's positioned. I haven't used his. I've used Badgers before. I've never liked their body position, just the way they feel for me. But that's not a slam on Badger. That's just, I don't like the way it feels for me. I know they're made well. I just don't like their configuration and the mechanics of them. But I know guys who love them and do amazing work with them, so you will enjoy that brush. Yeah, the hardest steam bags are great as well. I love their design. I like their mechanisms. I like the way their internals are configured. That's what I kind of mean by the way a brush is made. And I judge a lot of brushes by, like, everything works great out of the box. I can use a Harbor Freight out of the box. It works great. It's taken apart, 5 or 10 times, put it back together, and let me know how it works. That's where you usually find the flaws in most brushes. Is after some hard use and abuse, which I abuse the crap out of my brushes, so. I actually started originally back in the day with Pache. Still have a sweet spot for them. Alright, let's I'm going to add what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go back to my cerulean blue, but I'm going to add a little green to it. So I'm going to go back to the lighter blue, dump the cobalt, and go into cerulean, and I'm going to add a few drops of green. Yeah, so if you're using anything at a 0.15, and I do this with a 0.18 too, I rarely ever run anything opaque through it or white. You want ink, basically. Candies work awesome through them. And I strain it 3 or 4 times. I strain everything before I go to a micron. And need a little bit more green. Straining is your friend. And it's nothing to do with the brand. I don't care what brand you use. You want to use Createx, you want to use whatever. This brand, that brand. And every paint benefits from straining. I've been an automotive painter for years. Find me. I don't think you're going to find anyone here who sprays automotive that doesn't run their paint or their clear through a strainer before they do a car. Why? Because you want to get any trash out of it. Yeah, and let's face it. You open a can 3 or 4 times, you might get some trash in there. 2, I think it really helps the paint, emulsify together and it just kind of helps it marry together by running through the strainer. On a chemical level, it just kind of helps things kind of situate. So I strain everything. And I let it acclimate a little while. So like right now, I mixed up this paint about 7:30. I strained it, mixed up my primary colors, and then I'll tweak it from here and I won't really strain it. But my main batch of the color I'm going to be working with, I strained them after they acclimated for about 10 minutes. Let things happen. Strain them. It almost helps aerate the paint a little bit, just let everything get sorted through and break everything apart. I find it really good with like fine pearls. Just helps the pearl suspension. Yeah, makes things even. She's still under the weather, so she's dealing with mono. So she's been sick for the past couple weeks. Things are getting better, but she's still tired. Now it's a matter of is she just being lazy or tired. So I give her the benefit of the doubt most times. But she's going to have to get back into school. So this was school vacation week, so I just let her kind of chill this week. Next week, she's got to start getting more back on the ball. But see what this is doing. You probably can't see it on camera, but the green is just giving it a little bit of a darker tone. And kind of giving it that nice little kind of under the sea color. Let's see if it shows it on the other cam. Nah, it doesn't really show well. It's almost too, I was going to invent a mini airbrush strainer. They already are. There's already a bunch out there. I make my own. I make them all the time. I just use, and I've shown this quite a few times, and there's a couple guys that make them. There's some plastic disposal ones you can buy out there already as well. Where's my... So this is kind of what I use, basically. It's just a piece of plumbing conduit, end cap, and screens. So there's just screens inside from basically tobacco screens. It's perfect size, they fit right in. And I strain the paint through there. Yeah, breaking nozzles happens. Don't clean them. I don't clean mine very often. Not fully. So when you take them apart, you usually break them. I put them. Like when I clean them, I always put them away wet. So meaning I run thinner through. I leave some cleaner in it and tape over the hole so it doesn't dry out inside. I find that helps. But like my like gun, I'm running black through it, and hey Warlock, what's going on, man? If I'm running like black, I got it perfectly just right, or candy, especially with the automotive. I've had automotive white in my airbrush for over a month with never taking it out. Just keep working it, and I paint every day, so just about every day. I've left it for a week and come back to it and it started working. It horrifies a lot of pristine painters, but like I can walk away from here right now, put a piece of tape over this, walk away, come back 2 days later, give it a shake, give it a quick spray, and it'll spray fine. I've let paint dry my guns, but yeah. Yep. Yeah, the nozzles are they're a little tricky to put in. I put them in finger tight, and then I just take the tool. I take the little, I like Iwata's tool, They'd be the same. They'd fit the same for them. I love this little guy. Just give it a little twist. Just boom, like that. Just snug. That's all. Careful on the switchover. I know they're made to similar specs, but there is some slight differences that you may have to watch out for. Do I have preference to water-based or solvent-based? Yes. I prefer both for different reasons and different artwork, so I flip back and forth. So there's certain things I can do with solvent I can't do with water as easy, and vice versa. So it's a really hard question to answer, and sometimes it's just a mood thing. It's what I'm painting. Oh, you made one of my strainers? Yeah, they're great, man. They just work. They just work. I go to Amazon and order a whole box of these strainers. These guys here. Yep, these little guys here. I usually put 2 in if I want to get it extra fine. Yep, and they work great. Like I said, there's ones you could buy. I've never, I saw the plastic ones you could buy. I'm not buying a dozen of them. I can literally pop these in daily, so it works great for me. Like this one company that makes this, they stick like inside, and I don't bother with it. Basically, I use medicine cups. I buy these by like the 500 pack or 1,000 pack on Amazon. I should put a link up for this. And I buy these and I mix them in this one, and then I strain them in another one and go from there. Put my screen. I don't even bother. I just throw them out. I go on Amazon. I buy a whole bag of screens for like a couple bucks, and I just toss them. I just treat it as a consumable for the business. But again, I do this on a business, so I go through a lot more stuff. Shine, I can beg to differ. I can get water-based. I'm running water-based right now. It flows just as nice. There's certain things, like I can do my white. I do like my white solvent a little bit better because it's that heat that melts it. But it's negligible. It's negligible. Yeah, but you're talking a bag of screens. I think the last time I bought a bag of screens, or like 100 screens for like $4, $5. So you're gonna spend more money in restorer than you will on the screens in time. So yeah, it just depends where you want to put the money. Trust me, I'm familiar with being broke. You can see where it was last week. I was pretty close to the end of this, being done. It's just that last bit where you can just play around. Oh yeah, a little bit more green. Just get that tone. I'm just gonna do a nice little wash. Yeah, the green doesn't really show too well. I think this probably shows it a little bit better. Alright, so now just more bubbles. Kind of wrap this puppy up. And everyone can go enjoy their Friday night. Get some bubbles. Look at this guy here. We're going to go back to the cobalt blue. I'm going to add a little bit, a very sparing amount of black to it, like 3 drops. It's just enough to kick it to something dark. I want to darken towards the bottom, down here. We'll get this thing wrapped up. So we do a bid on this for $100 for Steve. Which Steve's not. Oh, we got another bid of $150 to Michael. Thank you, sir. I get to sand and buff a bagger. Oh yeah, so much fun to do. I'm luckier these days. Most of the baggers I do are done in conjunction with AudioWorks, which is a audio shop and custom bagger shop here that does some of the best baggers that are in the area. And they have their own, Matt over there does his own paint and body, so most of their stuff comes to me ready to rock and roll. I hand it back to them, and they do all the finish work. So I'm definitely spoiled when it comes to that. I did hit record, sir. Thanks for popping in. We're at the tail end of this painting. I just went back to the darkest blue and I added a couple drops of illustration black in just to carve this last bit of detail. I think this one, when I clear it, depending on the high bidder, I might put a little blue ice pearl over it, or a little house color meta jewel, just to give it an extra little shimmery pop. So we do have the bid of $150 in on it, just so Steve knows. I don't know if you hear. You've been outbid by 50. Hey, Galvin. People are trying to pop in late. I should have started the feed later. Had a tough time putting this one on the big screen. Oh yeah, yeah. Shine exactly. So like I still do a lot of my own clear on a lot of my bikes. This shop, they're grade A. They do the right work. They do the right prep. I love working with them on it. So yeah, but it's cool. For years, I wouldn't let anyone do it. Then I kind of got over it. Usually, it's their customers, so they decide the customers' budget and bike and what they want for colors, and then they bring me in to do the job. So they're in fact my customers, the bike shop, usually not the customer directly. And then the negotiation's really easy at that point. And we've done so many bikes together with this shop that most of the clients coming to the shop know that they give us a very simple idea of what they want, and they see the bike when it's done, and that's it. And I have very few customers now that I go back and forth with renderings. I have some that still want it. If they want it and they're willing to pay for all the renderings, fine with me. But renderings cost money. So I used to just kind of do them until they were happy. Now, I know when I have it in my head. If they need more convincing, they're welcome to pay for it. Keon Collins, thank you very much for that super chat, sir. Oh, finally found the right button. Thank you, brother. Much, much appreciated. Keep them super chats coming. They help a lot. Bringing out those tones. I really try to keep a lot of the detail in the center and let it kind of fade off, just because like it's not that underwater feel. So you're only going blah 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 blah. You want to focus, on like the center line of sight, and the rest is just gonna go off, kind of fade out. Details. Yeah, Shine. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at these days. Between the feeds and some of the work I'm doing, it's nicer to be able to focus on the art more than everything else. I don't mind doing everything else, but I'm really picky now. Like, I bill every second. So if you want to pay my rate for body work, that's fine. But I usually have guys I work with, and it's been working out great. And it lets me focus on what I'm best at, which is the artwork. I'm good at spraying, I'm good at polishing and body work, but my strong suit is here. So I would rather put the time here and let everything else, as long as there's no sacrifice in quality, and I'm not doing that by having other guys do it. And sometimes I have a few shops I work with that will do some clear for me, and they buff it. It looks good, and I'll usually kind of build an extra like 4 hours into the job. I'll get it back from said shop, depending on the car, and I'll go through and I'll just do like 3 or 4 hours of just kind of nip and tuck polish and make sure it's all perfect, and but the bulk of it's already done. I just kind of refine it to be picky. It depends on the clients too. If the clients value it, if the clients value it and can know the difference and know what they're paying for, then I totally don't mind doing it. So, Calvin, I'm not sure. We are working on the next rendezvous dates for sometime in September. And we're working on some stuff for this area, too, in the next year. So I will keep you posted as far as, you know, when we're actually going to do a full class. Great hanging with you too, man. Thank you for popping in. Hey, honey. Thank you. Yeah, feeling better. Just yesterday, just under the weather. You know. I hope all is well with you, kid. It's been a while. I always appreciate you popping in. And right now, I'm just trying to balance the painting out. I've gotten pretty much everything I want in here. And now I just kind of want to do some little odds and ends detail. A little brushwork, I think. Just going to kind of come in and just hit a few areas, brighten them up. And we're going to call this thing done, I think. And everyone knows me. I usually go back in these things afterwards and spend another hour or two messing around with these things. Oh my God, honey, you didn't have to pop in for that. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you for popping in and all your support. I'm going to sign this thing. And we got to call this an early night. It's a Friday. It's 9 o'clock. Got everyone in here. Like I said, this is pretty much it. It was just, you know, just kind of finishing up. What was the last thing you painted for yourself? So the last thing I really painted for myself was probably my Magnum, which has been a long time. Belongs to someone else now, sold that years ago. And then just everything kind of revolves around the house and some models and stuff I've built for myself here and there, but you know, no big paintings. Yeah, I don't paint much for myself anymore. Usually there's some involvement in something else. And, you know, I'll get back to some ideas for myself down the road. And now, I'm gonna do a signature the old school way. Ta-da! For the Nuggets game. Well, I'm glad I'm ending just in time for that. I want to thank everyone for popping in on this Friday night feed to continue this up. Damn, I missed the whole darn episode. Sorry, man. Yeah, this was more of a continuation of last week, so just wrapping this thing up. But I can stick around for a little bit more. But this is pretty much it for the painting. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to go and ask. And have we're going to wrap this up. The final bid goes to Michael Stanton at 150. Michael, we can chat afterwards, and you know the drill. And I'm going to put a little sparkly pearl on this when I clear it, and then get this thing sent off. So, with that being said, I'm going to clean my airbrushes out, call it a Friday night, pour myself a drink, and relax for the weekend and get back to it hardcore on Monday. Got a lot of cool stuff. Got some other videos coming in. Going to get into some miniature painting this week. Tabletop miniatures, we're getting into those. And I'll start doing some videos for that. And we're going to be using the new Iwata New World, the New World paints and from Medea. So I'm going to show you how that stuff works in comparison to some other top brands that are out there. And so we got a lot of stuff happening. That's about it. Have a great night, everyone. I will see you all next Thursday, health permitting, hopefully. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But thank you all for popping in this Friday night. Have an awesome, awesome weekend and enjoy. See ya.